Freedom of speech. What is it, really? The ability to talk, to share opinions, ideas, to openly have a conversation about issues that are important to us as a society and allow others to do the same. Our way of life is built on this freedom. If we fail to defend it, we'll be left with something quite frightening. Defend it, you ask? Yeah, it's in danger. Let us explain. We'll start with a simple question. Religion. You're free to say what you like about it, right? Not so fast. We see art that critiques Christianity, musicals that satirize Mormonism, Scientology, Buddhism, Judaism, they're all open to criticism, commentary, even ridicule. Virtually every religion is open to a conversation. Every religion except Islam. Talk about Islam, particularly militant Islam, and it's no longer a conversation. It's met instead with censorship, intimidation, lawsuits, and even violence. Don't believe us? When a Danish magazine published cartoons of Muhammad, the publishers were sued, threatened with violence, and intimidated into offering a retraction. When Dutch filmmaker Theo van Gogh and Muslim female advocate Ayaan Hirsi Ali made the film Submission, critiquing Islam's treatment of women, she received death threats and was forced to live in hiding, and he was stabbed to death on the streets of Amsterdam. His last words? Mercy, mercy, we can talk about it, can't we? Not without paying a high price, it seems. Let's bring it closer to home. In spite of the First Amendment, our conversations about Islamist terrorism have been stifled too. When journalists wrote about the Islamic Society of Boston, a mosque founded by an al-Qaeda operative, affiliated with the Muslim Brotherhood, and attended by the Boston bombers, ISB sued the journalists in an attempt to intimidate them into silence. When Congressman Cass Ballinger reported that the Council on American-Islamic Relations was a fundraising arm for Hezbollah, he was also sued, even though the judge agreed he was fully within his rights to speak publicly about CAIR's ties to militant Islam. When dozens of non-Muslims were singled out to be massacred in a Kenyan shopping mall by the Islamist terror group al-Shabaab, 90% of the top 10 daily newspapers censored the words Islam and Muslim from the headlines reporting on the attack. When Major Nidal Hassan went on a murdering spree at Fort Hood, the US government classified his act of terrorism as workplace violence, with no reference to religious motivation. No mention of him screaming, "Allah is great," as he gunned down 13 fellow soldiers and wounded 32 more. Nothing said about essays he had written arguing for the painful punishment and liquidation of non-Muslims. References to Islam and jihad have been removed from the FBI's training manuals, while materials tying al-Qaeda to the 1993 World Trade Center bombing and linking the Muslim Brotherhood to terrorism have been eliminated. The East, Europe, the US, even at the UN, the conversation about militant Islam is being systematically suppressed. For more than 10 years, the UN Human Rights Council has been co-opted by the Organization of Islamic Cooperation into passing yearly resolutions directing UN member states to prohibit speech offensive to religion, specifically Islam. The scary part? These events are just a small example of what's already happening. This phenomenon is called lawfare. It's threatening, suing, censoring, even attacking anyone bold enough to speak openly about the threat of militant Islam, creating a society where freedom of speech is exchanged for fear of it. Either we have a conversation about this now, or we may never have it at all.